So how do I get freelance client with no experience? If I'm going to start, the first thing that we need to do is to learn and execute and skip the overthink. Because one of my biggest mistake was I was creating content. I was doing this. I was assigning and delegating tasks to people that I stopped in over planning, perfection, and in an analysis paralysis. Okay. So of course, there's a lot of things to do. I have this, I organize it already. What are you going to do? How can I implement it? Or my assistant is already there. But due to my perfection, I keep planning and planning and planning. And what happens to us? We have no result. So that's the problem. So in order to do this is you gotta have a minimal planning. Just be minimalistic in everything that you do. Mini planning here. And what you want to do is have small actions. Actions. And those actions can create or reveal some mistake. And those mistakes can be used as strategy to create better lives. Okay? That's just sparkling spark is up better plans. And those plans is something that you can create, duplicate, and replicate. So if you create better plans from those mistakes that you can uniquely tabulate or modify, then you can produce better outputs, bigger impact outputs, higher return. And what happens? What happens to the one? To the result. Of course, there's going to be a mistake, but it's going to expose maybe great mistake that do the yes and a small mistake, smaller mistake. You know why? Because you have higher quality output, which is prone less mistake, or maybe the impact of the bad mistake is small because it's already we're doing better, and you just repeat the cycle. That's how you can learn and execute. You don't just see, you don't just watch on things to educate yourself. Like example, when you want to learn, right? I'm going to advise it. Read the top self help books by millions of people recommended that can be pop, not fiction. Maybe it could be not not something that like manga or low value reading, but something that can improve. Like for example, self improvement genres, business genre, spiritual help genre. So really that. Then leverage this free university, a global university where everything is free, the YouTube University. But the problem is, you learn, you learn, you learn. You learn so many things. You hustle things. You work 4 hours a day. We learn 4 hours a day without a lot of free time, especially if you're a student. But over time, it goes to waste. And what is left is just this one. Because there was no action. So what you want to be, if you learn something, take action maybe in a week or in a month, after you learn something, you take action. Okay? You take action. Or when you make notes, you convert it to action. So that when you read your notes, you know what access to take. You don't have to reflect what am I going to do with this lesson, share that and so forth. So sometimes I also take notes so that I can just paste it to uh, AI. And then the AI itself has the data on the notes that you have written off. Maybe here doesn't have to be an action for, and then that AI will be a action plan for you, her strategies for you, right? So there's another possibilities that you want to implement. Okay. So the greatest one here is we gotta execute, learn, execute. Also, the secret is you teach, but you don't have much knowledge, so you're not in that level. But if you're in a level like me and a coach, then you can teach because that's one of the greatest form of learning that you can retain. So speaking of that, where you now move on to number two. So number two is you give value. So people pay us to solve problems. And the fastest way to solve problems is by giving free services. If you do that, you will gain experience, you will build your portfolio, you can document it, you can put it on your social media, of course with their permission. And people will pay it may see the result outcome. So example, if you give your work, you have this work and you give it for free, you will get friends like your clients. They don't pay you, but you build a trust. Maybe they can pay you in the future. Next, you can build your portfolio. Portfolio, a collection of your words, something that you can post on your social media or website. And also, you can highlight your authority. You're someone who already produce what? Results. Or you can send charts, statistics, and you can put it on your portfolio. Or other people can see you. You can ask them in exchange for reply and testimonial, or let them refer you to their author friends. You can get to also a free mentorship because you are teaching yourself they will the experience. So there's a lot of it. The list goes on and on, but if you give value guy would be come. And of course, there's such thing as a karma, regardless of what religion or we in. It will go back to you. That's how the universe works. So number three, the last point is you gotta. It's very important because I did it ever since I was 11 years old. Gotta expose your brand to be seen daily. No one wants to hire a ghost. If you are a ghost and you're not seen in your social media, no one's going to hire you. We live in a world where one eyeball or one view equals money. This is how big advertisers make. Okay? If they sell the product, of course they're going to buy. That's also same for you. And the way to advertise is not on big television anymore because you know what? The replacement is actually our phones. And most people, let's say, let's exaggerate it by 99% of people use this already. How can you get noticed here in phone? You can actually do this by using social media. It's very obvious. We have TikTok. Of course, the risk you is like their algorithms are changing and they have a high risk of getting banned by governments. What you can do is to go on a safer mode, get the list their emails, and then you do your free marketing there. You attract them, you get leads, maybe you attract them to buying a product or getting their email list or email address so that when these platforms died, you at least you have an email. This is an asset, but you can always sell. You can give them extra bonuses, extra offers, and so on and so forth. So remember, you make your content simple and valid because the what matters the most is not how much you edit or how good your editing is, but how simple it is because it gives us clarity on what value the key. It gives us like an impression that hey, is my value and I want you to see it. So it really saves a lot of time, energy, and effort at the same time. So if you do a free work with someone, you will eventually build all of this. So that's it. If you want more content like this, please do so. Hit the subscribe button. And if you think that someone needs this video, especially if you're a friend or a Christian, just share the goodwill and spread it to the people whom you genuinely think will be helped by this text, especially for aspiring freelancers. Okay? Love you. Goodbye.